Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Sick Podcast Anvil Show. It is finally time. This week starts the NFL season. I cannot be more excited. My boys are excited. We're going to talk about keys to victory in the Jags game and just our thoughts on how we think all that'll play out. But before all that, Sammy, play me in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
It's going to be sick. Let's go ahead and hit the hammer to start this thing. Because that's the opening bell of the season. So, fellas, come on in.
Boy, I cannot wait to hear that in person.
Oh, my goodness. Football is back. Whoa, is it back? And we got the Jags up first, boys.
I was going to say, if y'all haven't heard, we have a home game this week, boys.
We do have a home game. Oh, my goodness. And before we start promoting tailgates and all that other stuff, let us remind you, please like, follow, subscribe, share all those great things on all of our socials. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram. You know what it is. Sick Podcast, Anvil Show. Go out there, do your due diligence, get the numbers up. Now.
And if you don't subscribe to this YouTube channel, it means you're a Patriots fan. Think about it. Think about it.
And there it went. Already out the gate. He can't wait. Can't wait to get his first official Omaha of week one. It sounds amazing to say week one because it's been a long off season and we're not going over any of that anymore. We've done that all off season. So let's talk about the football game that we played Sunday in Lucas Oil Stadium. And it is the defending champs of our division, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, oh, by the way, lost the last time they were in Lucas Oil Stadium. So let's talk about how the hell do we get them to lose again? Acosta, you're smoking, you're feeling good, you're cherry red, you got some bed head, and all other things. How do we get a win, bro?
I need a haircut, bro.
You do.
I do.
I can fix you up. I can fix you up real nice.
Yeah, Patrick hasn't had a real haircut since 90, maybe. But anyway, Acosta, how do we get this done?
I think it all is going to come down really, score early, score fast, get the let the defense get their breaths when they can. The defense is really going to be, I think, our showstopper for this game. That high-powered offense under Doug Peterson, of course, with Trevor Lawrence. I think, really just some heavy pressure on TL and, just go out there and just ball out, man. Ball out like we know what we can do. Our defense is solid. We got some young cornerbacks, but I think they'll get their butterflies out early. But I think it's going to come down to the wire, with this game. It's going to be a battle all throughout. But I think our defense is going to come up big in the end for us.
But Patrick, they got Trevor Lawrence, and they got Calvin Ridley, and they got Travis Etienne, and they got Christian Kirk, and they got Ingram, and their defense, and Doug Peterson, and they won a division. And Peter King thinks they're the number one damn team, oh my goodness, in the entire AFC. How do you beat this juggernaut, Patrick?
In the trenches. That's where you beat them.
Beat them in the trenches?
Beat them in the trenches. Offensively, our offensive line has to maintain. They got to give Anthony time to, let things catch up to him, let plays develop, make it a little easier on him, keep him clean. Create holes for Hall and Jackson because they're not the powerhouses that JT is. JT can run through somebody and grab more yards. These guys need a little bit of green. Now, I know Jackson does. I'm not 100% on Hall just yet. I haven't seen him enough to say if he's a power back or if he's a space back. But regardless, that line has to do their job, bottom line. And then on the defensive side, like Country was just saying, they have a lot of weapons on offense. Our defense has to be fast. They got to hit hard, and they just have to stop them. So to me, it starts and stops in the trenches. If they're moving us back, they're going to win. If we're moving them back, we're going to win.
Okay. I'll say this. I think it really boils down to where we're playing, right? And I get it. We got a rookie quarterback. They have a very proven now entering his third year quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, here over the last 7-8 years, we've been splitting down the middle. We can't win in Jacksonville. They can't win in Indy. So I think that we have that going for us. I mean, last year we beat them at home still. Now it was kind of towards the end of the game, almost the last drive at least, on a 4th down. Big pass and catch from Matt Ryan to Alec Pierce. But moral of the story, we still beat them, right? And we know we were a team that was not great last year. We had holes and issues everywhere, and we still were able to get that done. That doesn't mean that directly translates, but it just simply means that I like that we have this in our favor. You know, last year we went down there in week 2, and it was a shit show. I was there, 24-0. Like, this team didn't even know how to play football. Then a couple weeks later, they come back to Indy, and it's like, oh, we won. Like we didn't just go get blanked a few weeks before. So it's weird how that works. But I really think that's going to help us out. I think the crowd early on will more so benefit Anthony Richardson than maybe even deter Lawrence. And what I mean by that is it's just he gets to start his first game at home with a 60,000 plus cheering for him, rooting for him, and wanting him to do well, versus being on the road with all kind of pressure and people booing him and yelling at him, and he don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. And I just think that Shane's got to uncork. If you want to win this, like he said, we're going to pass to score, run to win. So let it rip. And I was going back and I watched trivia question really quick. Who was Andrew Luck's first game against? Do y'all remember?
Well, I'm going to have to say the Jags since we're talking about them.
Wrong. Do you have? What about you? You got thoughts?
I don't.
Chicago Bears on the road. Andrew Luck was all over the place that game. We ended up losing that game. He had a couple picks, and I think he might have had 200 and something yards, almost 300 maybe. Moral of the story is he played like a rookie. So let's remember that. I can't remember Peyton Manning's first game. I want to say it was the Dolphins I think it was the Dolphins, maybe the Titans. I don't know. Moral of the story is he played like a rookie. So let's not get crazy when Anthony Richardson plays like a rookie. But at the same token, I think we need him to play however he's going to play for us to even have a chance. So if that's 2 picks, one rushing touchdown and 1 receiving touchdown and 295 yards, we're not going to talk about the particulars. We're just going to be happy that he was able to have a complete game. So I'll just tell fans, be patient.
Another thing I want to mention to the fans too is give Anthony Richardson the same respect that we did to Peyton Manning when he was here. Be quiet when the offense is on the field. Let the man work. Let the man do his communications. Let the man make his play calls in a silent area so they can hear the audibles. They can hear anything at the changing at the lines. Have that respect for him. That's highly, highly, highly needed. Especially with him being a rookie, he has to communicate clearly. He's got to hear the play call. He's got to make sure he's confident on that field. And we can help by staying quiet. I know the excitement's here. We have a potential generational quarterback back in Indianapolis. We just got to keep calm while he's on the field.
Yeah, that's what home field advantage is we're loud when their offense is on the field, and we're quiet when our offense is on the field.
Yep.
That's what home field advantage is.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's exciting. Everybody's happy to be back. So we'll have some people who probably won't get that on the first couple drives, but let's settle into the game. Let's just let it play out. And I'll say this. We got 7 captains on this team, right? Keys to victory. are those 7 captains being captains. Because we got young players like the Colts do not have a single player that will enter the season 30 years or beyond. So we're babies. I think our average age is somewhere in the 26-year-old range, I think. Like if you average it all out. And so with that said, those are the things that we have to focus on. This is a young team, talking about as fans now. This is a young team, and we should expect them to have some moments of, oh shit, that was a college level play. Hell, it might have even been a high school level play. But there's so much talent, they're going to grow into their shoes, so to speak, as the season goes. We're not going to, win or lose on Sunday. This game is not going to say in a year from now, we're Super Bowl ready. We can go in there and spank Jacksonville. Don't think that means Super Bowl because this team is going to have some growing pains. But we just got to be prepared for that. And so let's not start talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. already. Talking to one of our own, old Carvey, in a group text today. Let's relax. Okay, let's not get there. And then I mean, if you want more fuel for the fire, people already have us as a lottery next year, like picking number 3 overall. I don't think we're that bad. You know what I mean? I know we're young, but I don't think we're that bad. So we just gotta see how that plays. We just gotta see how that plays out. I don't agree with that one iota. But so with that said, let's switch gears slightly. Still sticking with the game, but slightly. Why are so many people so high on the Jags? Number 1, Peter King has them number 1 in the AFC, like over the Chiefs,
Kansas
over the
City, Bills.
Cincinnati. What? Can you make, and we talked to Peter King, love the guy, hope to get him back on now that we're with Sick Podcast Anvil, because we had him on before we had joined the network. I would love to hear him again, so maybe we can make that connection during the season. But how in the hell do we get like a 9-8 team? Mind you, they did not dominate. They finished strong, but they finished 9-8. 9-8. And now they're better than the Chiefs? Acosta, say something, do something. I don't know. I'm confused. Headache, actually.
Man, I was flabbergasted when you sent that too, man. Like, I was just like, what in the world? Because, I mean, yes, they're good. They have a lot of talent like we do, but I don't see them being – they've been together a little longer than this team has, yes, than the Colts have right now. But I don't see them being a top tier team in the AFC as far as like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, like in that tier. Like, I don't see, I think they're the tier below. They're still an up and coming team. I just really can't see why in Doug Peterson's second year there that they're this powerhouse that they think they can be. And I mean, they could very well be, who knows? But I don't see it.
9-8, bro. Like, this is like I said before, when Tyler was on here and we had the meeting of the minds and everybody was kind of jabbing each other when we had the rival show, I was like, 9-8 has never meant so much. Like 9-8 right now is like you're Super Bowl bound. Like, this is nuts. Like,
it was.
Talk to me, man. What's up?
It's just the expectations. That's all it is.
Fine, but
you got Trevor Lawrence coming into his third year, Doug Peterson second. The combination works. They proved it. They got on a real hot streak last year. Towards the end, like you're saying, took the division. Is it Ridley? Rick, or who'd they get off suspension?
Oh yeah, that's Ridley. Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin. So they got high expectations for him. They've seen what Ingram can do. Their offensive line's pretty decent. I don't know much about their defensive line. So, but it's just expectations. That's all it
Josh
is.
Allen as an edge rusher, he's pretty solid.
He is solid.
I don't know what's going on in that secondary. I can't speak to that. I don't know, man.
I think they're going to. I think they got the talent around them to be competitive with just about anybody if they come out and play. But I believe we do too. Even though we're young, we got a first-year coach, first-year QB.
Yeah.
We got a new offensive coordinator. We got a new offensive line. Hell, we about got a whole new coaching staff. I think the two coaches from last year, Reggie Wayne and Cato June. Everybody else skedaddled.
Bradley. Gus is still there.
And Gus, yeah. So there's not a lot for people to look at the Colts and have those expectations because nobody's seen anything yet.
I mean,
that's
I
all
get
it
it.
is.
I get it. And maybe I'm just about to sound like a hater. So my bad to all the Jacksonville fans out there. But it just that shit don't even roll off the tongue. Jacksonville Jaguar. Like that's doesn't I mean, they're synonymous with stinking, bro. Like
ball.
yeah, like that's I mean, come on, man. Like
What
remember
the hell is that?
we had that's their county. We had we had
I know what it is, but I don't.
Oh my bad. We had read something last season. We had talked about it. Like they in like the last what was it, decade, they had spent like $1 billion on players and they still haven't become formidable. Like, so this is what I'm getting at. It's been since 2014 since we won the division. We need to win the division so we can stop talking about shit like this because this is ridiculous, bro. Like literally, I've said this all off season. We were 9-8 2 years ago, lost to them on the last week of the season, didn't make the playoffs, got clowned. They go 9-8, squeak and win a division because the Titans is like caught like the worst, I don't know, bug ever. We can't win, we can't stay healthy, and they lost 7 straight while Jacksonville won 7 straight. But they win the division and they're now crowned champions. Like what did old boy Diddy Green say? You crown their ass. Like and then I think we're gonna be like they are who we thought they are. Like no, man, like I just don't, it does not roll off the tongue. They are not ready for Kansas City. Even though they played Kansas City in the playoffs last year, they played them pretty tough. They're not Kansas City level. They're not even Bengal level. And don't get me wrong, Herbert and the boys absolutely laid an egg. I'm sure they are super salty about how that went down. They had that game in the bag and laid an egg. So take nothing from them. But we got to chill out with this Jacksonville talk. That's just my thoughts on that. So
not
back to the game.
Not to mention the Jaguars were like the key candidate to go to London.
Yeah, facts. Like I don't know. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to be there. Again, I could be a hater because I'm ready for us to get back to where we need to be. 2014 is a long time ago. That's nearly a decade ago since we won the division that we built. Like we built this division.
Well, I didn't put it that way. That's terrible.
We built this division. So we can't have that. But anyway, getting back to the game, we kind of talked about the keys to the victory. Everybody touched on that. But one thing I think we have to really, really, really lock in on, what kind of coach is Shane Steichen? Now, we know what he is an OC underneath Nick Sirianni, and we can give him all the accolades for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and everything they did last year. But what kind of coach is he on 3rd and short? What kind of coach is he in the 2-minute drill? What kind of coach is he just throughout the game? Is he like dinking and dunking? Are we going to take chunk plays? Are we going to take shots? That's key to watch because we knew what Frank was. Very methodical, very analytical,
very conservative,
supremely conservative, play the right play the game out. And I think that's kind of what cost him his job because you're watching all these other coaches around the league do what? We're going for the home run as much as we can. Like we're playing, get big numbers, get big yards. Let's do it. And so it's going to be interesting to see because I think people overthink a player and don't really think about who's coaching said player. So I think that's what we need to watch. Yeah, he's young, but Jalen Hurts was young too. And Justin Herbert was young too. Talking about when Shane Steichen had him. So let the boy play. I fully expect him to throw double-digit picks this year. I won't pick a number. But I would hope that he would have 10 more touchdowns than he has picks. So if he throws 15, give me 25. Shit, if he throws 20, give me 30. Now, that's not a clip that you want to keep up, but in year 1, I'm going to take it. That's showing me that you're letting him play football. You're not trying to turn him into what? Something that he's not. And I think that's where usually an athletic kid will steer and go wrong. That's just my thoughts. How y'all feel about that?
I agree 100% with that. I mean, AR is a freakish athlete. One that Man, about the only ones I can kind of compare him to is like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. You
like
know,
an
people,
absolute phenom.
yeah,
Right.
just absolute stud at whatever the hell he does. So don't hold him back. Let him be him. Let him be that superior athlete that's on the field. Let him make the plays that you brought him here to do.
Yep.
You know, so I agree with your statement there 100%, Clyde.
Absolutely. What's your thoughts on that, Country?
I absolutely agree too. And I just think this couldn't have came at a better time. You know, you have a very, even though it's young, you have a very veteran forwarded defense with, you know, a lot of our key, who are actually a lot of our captains on this defensive team who retired last year, who all but given up. Shane Steichen brings a young vibrance to this team. Shane Steichen brings, you know, aggressiveness to this team. We're going to see almost the complete opposite of what we were seeing during the Frank Reich era in Indianapolis. I think this year he's going to let Anthony play ball. He's going to tell Gus unleash that defense. He's going to, you know, make some aggressive downfield plays with Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. You know, it's going to be exciting to watch because he's definitely not one of these coaches that's going to just sit back. He's going to be like, you know, the game's on. Hey, we're going to put our foot on your throat. You know, it's going to be a cutthroat team this year. He's just that aggressive. He's that passionate, and it's his first year. He wants to make a name for himself as a head coach. He said it in his opening presser. He wants this more than anything. He's wanted it more than anything to have this opportunity, and he's not one that I feel, in my opinion, gets that, you know, or takes that, you know, for granted. He wants to make a name for himself. He wants to make a name for himself in this league. And he's not going to do that by being conservative. He's going to be aggressive. I think he's even going to be probably slightly more aggressive in some ways than he was in Philly, just because he has to make a name for himself. So, I mean, like we said a couple shows ago, we're in good hands. You know, coaching wise, QB wise, all across the board, we're in good hands. I got good faith in this new regime that we have.
Let me ask you a question, Acosta. At what point is being aggressive too aggressive?
When it's not working.
That's as simple as it can. I feel like you wanted like a very sophisticated answer. It's like
I did. I wanted, you know, hey, if it's 4-4, yeah, you better not go for it. I wanted something. I wanted
he's
some
a defensive
meat.
lineman
I wanted
by
some
heart.
meat on this plate, man.
He's a defensive lineman by trade. Like, hey, coach, quit standing me up. I want to be hands in the ground. That's not working.
Yeah, like quit making me contain, coach. Like, let me get in there, damn it.
Let me go. But see, I say it like this, man. I'm gonna tackle two things quick. First off, you know, why not Coach Shane? Because Brandon Staley did it out there with the Chargers, and you know, Zach Taylor did it with the Bengals. Like, they immediately changed the culture of them teams, and they became like the Bengals were a laughing stock for years, and now the Bengals, the last couple, they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Holy shit, right? Like, you know what I mean? The Chargers probably have
this close to winning it.
Yeah, and the Chargers should probably have more success than they have already because they got Herbert. But you know, they've lost a lot of tough games, but they're still talked about. So I say that to say, why not Coach Steichen? And honestly, before we knew what those quarterbacks were, like, those rosters were not whatever. Because you got to remind you, they didn't, like, it was Burrow the first year, then they got Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but then they bring in Herbert, and he's like, oh yeah, this kid is really as advertised, right? So what I'm getting at is, why can't we have that same type of approach to what may or may not happen? So that's what I'll be looking for with how he calls the game. That's something that we talked about so much last year on the show. How is the game being called? I know you're offensive mind, but are you locked in on defense? Are you locked in on the entirety of the game? Or are you just worried about the next time you step on the field from the offensive side? That'll be something that we watch. So I think that's key. And the last thing I kind of really want to say about Anthony and everything that's kind of going to what you were saying, Pat, about him being a phenom. I'm going to go back to when we watched him play against the Eagles. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not being biased just because he's our, guy. But I promise you, in that game, he shrunk the field. I've never seen a player shrink the field like that from the quarterback.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I know you can throw it all around. Like Patrick Mahomes throws but I'm talking about, like, he literally shrinks the field. So either whether he's getting a chunk of yards running or he throws a pass, they go tempo. It just looks different. I'm like, damn, like that drive where we went 80-something yards, end up getting a field goal, should have got a touchdown. Like that, he shrunk that field so quickly. And people might say, oh, well, it was a third and a fourth string. That's not the point. The point is you're not going to be able to tackle him. He's probably going to always get 8 to 10 yards when he really has open field. Once he slows down the game, and if you go back and look at that tape, there were so many times where he could have ran and kept drives going. There was passes that I won't say he missed, but he was just like, maybe the game was moving too fast, so he didn't see people break open late. Once the game slows down, good night. I think Patrick Mahomes right now plays football, and it's like everybody else is in like -2 speed, and Pat Mahomes is like playing in 4 speed because he sees everything. When Anthony develops to that, and I'm saying, I'm gonna manifest this because I think that he will. He's not going to be Marcus Russell or nobody like that. He's going to develop, and the game will slow down just because he's studious. The NFL's in trouble. Now that sounds biased. Might not happen this year, but by year 2.5, pushing 3, the league's in trouble. When he get 10, when this year he'll surpass all the college starts he had. You know what I mean? So he only had 13 college starts. If he plays the entire season, he'll end up with 17. So he'll have more experience playing in the big leagues than he had in college. And the game's going to slow down at some point, and it's game over. Just my thoughts. So before we wrap up and get out of here, because we going to do better. We're going to do better. We got to do what we always do, boys. Parting shots with score predictions. Pat, you up first.
Score prediction.
Yeah, come on now. We did this last season.
This is going to be tough. 21-17 Colts.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game.
21-17 Colts.
Could be wrong.
Costa.
27-24 Colts.
Ooh, we bias on this.
Defense shines in the end. Defense shines at the end of the game.
This is my idea, but I hate to do it. All right, so here we go. 28 and some odd number 25. Jags. But we're excited. We're excited with what we saw. And there's a lot to build from. I'm gonna give them the credit that they're due. They're supposed to beat us. Because if they don't, oh my God, watch Duval turn into a shanty town really quick. If they lose to the potential worst team in the NFL, like the world is predicting, in week 1, So, not contradicting my keys to victory. I still think we need to do those things to win. But 28-25 Jags. I know. I bow my head in disgrace. We can't win them all, boys. I'm sorry.
I think somebody gets an Omaha for that one.
Okay, fine. Omaha! But keep this in mind. We still haven't broke our home, our not even our home opener. We have not broke our week 1. We got a W. I won't call it a curse, but situation quite yet. Because last year don't count because we tied.
What was it? Go back to 2014 when we won the opener. Is that it? I think
sadly, like that. Sadly, I was in person in Houston to see that tie happen.
Yeah, that stinks.
That Christ. Was whew.
You could cheer just a little bit harder.
I had no voice.
Oh my goodness. Last but not least. Last but not least. Acosta. 30 seconds. Pitch the Forge. Go.
The Forge tailgate, y'all. It's at the corner of South Street Meridian, adjacent to the Slippery Noodle. Look for the RV. It'll have our logo on the back, home with the Forge tailgate on the side, home with the anvil shot. We will have an actual anvil out there on a stand. People can hit it. We will do anvil shots. The featured dish for this game is barbecue Philly sliders.
Oh, got to get there early, boy, because I ain't going
to. Yeah. They're not going to last at all. So,
Big Pat, you eat that.
So with that being said, big shout out to the Home Gating. They're supplying the barbecue sauce for this event. They're one of our sponsors for the tailgate. So we'll be using their barbecue sauce. Samples will be provided if y'all wish to partake. If not, they will definitely be in the sliders. But yeah, come out, have some drinks, have some good food, bang that anvil, and let's cheer these Colts to victory come Sunday.
That was definitely longer than 30 seconds. So because of that, Pat, you get 30 seconds, not 60. Go. Say whatever you want to say. Say what you want to say.
Final thoughts?
Not really final
Say
thoughts.
something. Okay, that's all he gets. That's all he gets.
Don't make me cue up Sammy. You're looking like you don't know what you know how to talk. I will Sammy you. I will Sammy you right now. You ready to go?
No, hey, you guys, let's just have some fun. You know, the expectations is for growth, not a Super Bowl. You know, let's get the growth period out of the way, and then we'll have those Super Bowl expectations. But let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And that is also our expectation. Growth for this show, growth for this network. Come out, support, like, subscribe to all things. We'll have our dot cards. You take an anvil shot, you give us a sub. We ain't playing around. You feel me? And with that, Sammy, play us out of here.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.